the Outsider series, in a remote cave in Markovia, Sebastian Faust sits in solitude as he conjures up visions of the Outsiders planning to reform the group for his own means. But as a vampire approaches the cave to attack Faust, the vampire is attacked by a mysterious red bear. The bear is seemingly loyal to Sebastian Faust as it bites the vampire's neck. But as the vampire is being mauled, Sebastian Faust appears and uses his magic to eviscerate the creature. The next morning, Prince Brian, aka Geoforce, is hosting Jeffrey Barron, aka Technocrat, to discuss a business venture. But as the two men are handed a mysterious package, Charlie Wilde yells no and he grabs the package and throws it as the package explodes. Prince Brian thanks Mr. Wilde for stopping that assassination attempt. But minutes later, as Mr. Wilde and Technocrat are in their quarters, Mr. Wilde combs the room for any more potential deadly hazards. But later, Technocrat and Mr. Wilde would have an audience with Prince Brian and Queen Ilona. Now, Technocrat is here to pitch his Technocrat defense droid for the safety of these lands. But as Prince Brian is extremely vocal about not trusting any American tech, Queen Ilona asks to speak to him in private about his opposition to the deal. She tells Prince Brian not to undermine her in front of guests, but Prince Brian states he's simply expressing his opinion as it concerns the safety of his nation. Now, as the Queen and Prince argue, Prince Brian decides to retire to his quarters. But as Prince Brian leaves, a vampire known as Prince Roderick comes out the shadows. Apparently, Prince Roderick has been colluding with Queen Ilona, and the explosives earlier was his assassination attempt. But since that assassination attempt failed, Prince Roderick is now going to take a more direct method. Later that evening, as Prince Brian retires to his quarters, he says hello to his guardsmen before retiring to his shack. But as the guardsman is patrolling, suddenly shots ring out as he's attacked by some kind of creature. Prince Brian walks out to see a vampire eating his guardsman while wearing his country's uniform. But as several more vampires come out of nowhere and swarm Prince Brian, he uses his pyrokinesis to melt the face of one before quickly getting overwhelmed. But as all the vampires are on top of him, he releases a huge amount of energy to break his way free. The last vampire tells him he may have failed the others, but he still lives. But Prince Brian punches the wall of his cabin and fashions a stake out of a plank of wood and impales the last vampire. He then grabs his Geoforce outfit as he prepares to go investigate. But elsewhere, Technocrat is on the phone talking to his lady when the connection suddenly dies. Technocrat and Charlie Wilde sense danger, so they set out to go find the queen. But as they're making their way through the forest, a big-ass red bear-like creature comes out of nowhere and attacks the duo. Charlie Wilde shoots the bear several times and impales it with a blade, but he's badly wounded. Mr. Wilde hands Technocrat his pistol and he tells Technocrat to finish him off. But before he could pull the trigger, Sebastian Faust appears and he tells Technocrat he could help his friend for a price. Now, Technocrat agrees to pay whatever Sebastian Faust wants. Sebastian Faust would then use his magic to seemingly fuse Mr. Wilde and the bear into one living being. Now, Technocrat can't believe his eyes as Mr. Wilde has now become this bear creature. But as several more vampires close in and attempt to kill the trio, Sebastian Faust tells them that's a really bad idea as Mr. Wilde flips out and takes claws to vampire. Sebastian Faust uses his magic to encase one in concrete. But as Technocrat shoots the last two vampires with darts, they tell him poison will do him no good. But Technocrat tells him they're not poisonous, they're juiced, as he electrocutes and absolutely eviscerates the last two vampires. Now, Technocrat and Mr. Wilde decide to accompany Sebastian Faust as they still want to get Charlie's humanoid form back. Meanwhile, Queen Ilona and the vampire Prince Roderick prepare to go live on a news broadcast as they want to deem Prince Brian a traitor. But elsewhere, as Geoforce flies through the air, planning to make his way towards Queen Ilona, he runs into Charlie Wilde in his new animal form. Now, as Geoforce is about to go at it with Wilde, Sebastian Faust levitates Wilde to stop them from fighting and explain the situation. Now, as the group makes it to the walls of Castle Markov, Wild starts digging a hole to go under instead of over. Now as the group descends from underground, they're thrilled to be backed up by Halo, Katana, and Looker. But as the group is saying their hellos, they're then greeted by Prince Roderick, who's backed up by a slew of vampires. Now there's several members of the Outsiders, but as of right now, Geoforce, Halo, Sebastian Faust, Technocrat, Katana, and Wild team up to face a slew of vampires. Geoforce uses his pyrokinesis to blow the vampires back as Looker shoots several vampires with her ocular beams. Technocrat gets swarmed, but he emits a beam of light from his body that serves to back up the vampires. As Wild and Katana slice up vampires, Sebastian Faust retaliates with holy water. Now the heat beams work well as they bear a similar result to sunlight, but nevertheless, the group is getting overwhelmed by the massive number of vampires. Geoforce flies off to find Queen Alona, but as he busts in the room where she's doing the live broadcast, he's confronted by Prince Roderick. Now Prince Roderick grabs the queen by the neck and proceeds to break it, but Geoforce tries to stop him, but unfortunately, due to the fact that Prince Roderick is a vampire, he does not show up on the live feed, and it looks like Geoforce just assassinated the queen. Geoforce hits Prince Roderick and knocks him back and tries to blow him away with a heat beam. But unfortunately, Prince Roderick backhands Geoforce and subsequently incapacitates him. Now by the time he wakes up, the vampire prince is gone and the queen is dead. And to make matters worse, as he goes outside, he finds the lifeless body of Looker, as the Outsiders have paid a heavy price today. To be continued.